What's up, guys? Today I'm going to show you how to make a cool ad poster or magazine cover, much like one right here that I made for my final project. I made it using this photo originally. I'm not going to recreate that photo for the purpose that this isn't as much for the background image as just the skateboarding picture itself and the text, how to layer everything properly and make it really stand out. So you're going to start by hitting File, New. I usually use around 600 to 700 width to 700, 800 height. Next, you're going to select your skateboarding image, zoom in a little bit, and begin to cut yourself out of the picture. You can try and use the quick selection tool if the pixels are right, if the coloring's okay. But for this one, since it's really hard to get myself with that tool, I'm just going to use the magnetic lasso tool. It's always better to try and give yourself more room than not enough when using this tool. I mean, if you really want, you can just use the lasso tool and do a hard erase after, but I kind of just find that this magnetic lasso tool works well for me. I'm happy with the result I get, especially with the picture that it is. It's not the best of quality. Now just keep dragging it out. Once again, everything that you keep extra in it, you can just delete after. You can erase it out. But you can't always draw things back in as easily. That's why I choose to do it this way. Okay, gotta be careful going through this part, and we're back. Control C, go to your picture, Control V, it's on a new layer. Now go back and we're going to grab the skateboard. Once again, we're going to use the magnetic lasso tool, so Control D to deselect. This will be a little bit quicker. Once again, you can always straighten out the edges and make it look really nice after you're done copying it out, cutting it out, using your lasso tool, whatever you want to call it. Control C, Control V, and now, oh, whoops, Control Z, Control minus to zoom out a bit, and we're going to grab the rest of this ramp and grass area. To do so, we're going to use our quick selection tool, because it's actually pretty easy for this part. And of course I accidentally didn't deselect my board, but that's no problem. Control C, Control V, grab this square selection tool, rectangular selection tool, and just Control X when you've selected it. There you go. Now we're going to move this to the bottom layer, use our move tool and move it down so that it's only taking up about half the page. Grab yourself, move yourself up, make yourself look really good with all that air. Yeah, that's sweet. Get your board under you. You might, that looks pretty good. I would say that's looking like a pretty good cover. Next, we'll do the text for the page before we finish off with the background. The text I like to use for my main header is called Banco. Not sure how you pronounce it. Right here. You can select your font size up here and just use Control up to make it bigger. I usually can go to about 77, I believe. Move it over, see if it works. Maybe just take it down one. one size. There we go. That looks good. For this, I'm also going to go up to the color scheme up here and change it to a nice vibrant green. And the last thing that I forgot to do until just this moment is you want to go to your warp text option up here, change it to arc, and make the bend a little less. Reposition it. Right click on the text layer, go to blending options, and select stroke and drop shadow. Within drop shadow, you can feel free to move your distance up a little bit, your spread up a little bit, and the size up a little bit, just to give it a little bit more depth. Just gonna move these down just a little bit, just a tiny bit. Okay, the next text I like to add in is just a little subheader for the magazine, which is just Shake Jar Champ, then subheader magazine. And that font I like to use something called DNNS, I believe. It's always a tricky one to find, especially when you go the wrong way. DNNR, there you go. So, magazine. Oh boy. This needs to be smaller. There you go. Move it over and then just spell it correctly. I don't know. Magazine. Are you know how you spell magazine? Now I'm starting to second guess myself. Yeah, I don't know. Don't ask me what I was doing on that one. Not thinking. Okay. So, yeah. Oof. Get off that. Try and reselect your word. There you go. Magazine. Perfect. Move it down just a tiny bit. Right click on the magazine layer, text layer, and give it in blending options a stroke and a drop shadow. And you can just increase that drop shadow just a bit. And the last piece of text we like to add in is something describing what's going on in the magazine or in the event. So for that font I like to use, it is Dymo Font Inverse? Dynamic Font Inverse, I assume is what that stands for. You can go check out how crazy Shake is. That's my nickname. I don't know how I got it. It's because I shake a lot, actually. I do know how I got it. It's just not a very good story. Don't forget to select up here. Make it a little bit smaller. And cut the words down. For this, I also want to change it to a black font, because it'll just stand out on the magazine better. There. For the background, you can pretty much use anything you like. Personally, like I said, I found this one to be really cool when I made it. I would like to, I guess I should finish it up, so let's just find a quick picture to throw in there to make it a nice cool background. Oh, this will work. You know, it'll be interesting. So I'm going to put this at the very bottom. Very bottom. Oh, now I'm in the wintertime. Ooh. That is cold. Control T will let you transform the shape. And even though it's going off the page a bit, I just want to make it a little bigger. A little bigger this way. Maybe just put more trees in the back. You know, just give it the tree look. Yeah, that looks terrible, actually. I'm just going to make it the way it should be, like that. That looks way better. Skating in the winter. Crazy. It's like sun on one side, snow on the other. It's a bipolar magazine. One other thing I sometimes like to do is find if there is some sort of horizon or meridian. I like to try and use the rectangle tool usually with some sort of nice color. Say you give it a nice purple. You use the rectangle tool. You go see what this looks like. No stroke, please. Sometimes it adds a little extra flair to things, sometimes it doesn't. Just want to see what it looks like for this. Maybe it'll work. Another thing I like to do with the rectangle is to go to blending options and give it a bevel and see if that gives it something a little bit more tasty, a little more tantalizing. But it doesn't. It just doesn't really work for this one. My other ones had a bit of a more straight across cut. If I could find one. I guess I closed all of them. But yeah. So I would just highlight that and delete it, but if you want to add something there just to create a boundary for the middle, it'd be really nice. And that is my tutorial of how to make a basic skate magazine cover for skateboarding or some sort of other activity that you like to do.